Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. We have Matt, the mortgage guy, and he and I are going to pontificate, guess, look at our broken crystal balls, talk about the Federal Reserve and what Jerome Powell was saying about 33 minutes. Yes, we are recording this at 10:30 Pacific, and Powell talks at 11. So really only one of three options can happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's either going to be, on target what we expected, or different than we expected one way or the other, right? So those three outcomes.
that's it. So when we talk about the base case, which is the most likely, I think this is the following, and let me know if you agree or you don't. Basically, he's going to come out and say, yes, folks, we're going to be done with tapering in March. Done. I think that's a layup.
Yeah.
Next, I think he's going to come out and say, we're raising rates. I do not think he says we're set on a quarter or a half. I think he's going to say something like, the market anticipates us to raise the federal funds rate and it is an option in March. Something.
Yeah. Like he always gives himself a back door too, where it's like, if the market conditions change or if something, I can go one way or another. So,
yeah. And then the final one he's going to talk about is, yes, we will be shrinking our $8.7 trillion balance sheet. We don't really know how or how much or when. That's kind of the three things that I think are the base case today. What do you think of those three?
Yeah, I think so. And, it's always interesting because people are going to pluck out verbiage and things he says and say, oh, he said this lean towards they're going to be more aggressive than we thought, or this leans towards less aggressive. And so it's been interesting because literally it's been like this quiet calm before the storm.
Mm-hmm.
Markets, mortgage-backed securities have literally been just like, no, we're not moving today. We'll just wait till Wednesday. And Monday, Tuesday, it's been relatively flat, and it's been volatile and changing up until this week, to where this week there's a lot of anticipation for what's going to be said. My personal thought is that all this mortgage rate increase that we've seen and the movement from mortgage-backed securities is the market baking in like what's to come, right? And so most of the stuff is baked in. There shouldn't be much market movement unless, Jerome kind of, either says it directly, which I agree with you, he's not. He's always going to give himself an out and flexibility. But if some sort of verbiage clues people or points people towards might be more aggressive or might be less aggressive, then that's going to have an effect on mortgage-backed securities.
Yeah. So again, I think that is the base case. I think that's where it comes. So let's go dovish, because again, he could split the middle, or he could surprise people by being more dovish. So the dovish side of the equation is, I still think he says we end taper in March. I just think that happens.
Yeah.
I think a dovish response would be, something like a rate raise in March is not certain. Basically we might wait for more data. We might wait till June. I think the market expects a raise in March. So if he says anything like March isn't a guarantee or isn't locked in or whatever the vocabulary is, I think that will be seen as dovish. And then on the balance sheet, if he says we will review the balance sheet like the second half of the year, like he just punts it, I think that will also be the dovish side. What do you think of that?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah, if he strays at all from what people expect and what he's already talked about, yeah, it's gonna be a surprise to me and to most people, and the markets will react accordingly.
Okay, now the hawkish side. So again, I think it's baked in the case that March the taper is over. I don't think that changes. But now if he comes out and says we're going to raise rates in March and we're going to come out hard, if he talks about a half or heaven forbid a 3/4, that will be hawkish. That would be Paul Volker hawkish. And if he comes out and says we anticipate selling bonds even as little as $50 billion come March or April, let's call it the first half. Oh, the market's not going to like that.
Right. Yeah. And I think, that scenario is probably unlikely based on Jerome's history and his unwillingness to kind of, step out.
Yeah. It's, I think he does understand that he's playing with his reputation. I do think he's going to lean more. I I don't know what's more likely, the dovish or the hawkish. Oh, dude, he can't be dovish anymore. He's just.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if I were a betting man and I was betting on one or another, I would think that the favorite would be dovish, just
Really?
because it's like you can blame it on a little bit of, market uncertainty or the market's, reaction over these last few weeks, and they're trying to, not go too fast or not right. Like I feel like that is more likely to be like, listen up, here's what we're going to do. 50 basis points in March. We're going to hike up the Fed funds rate. We're going to, get, 8.6 trillion down to 5 in the next 24 months. That seems very, very unlikely to me, where like a little bit of walk back, I guess it's probably like, his history of not being
I'm
there.
actually going to come out on the other side of that. I think the right answer is the middle, obviously, hence it's the base case. But if I had to go dovish or hawkish, I'm on the hawkish side. I believe Jerome Powell is just like every other human being on the planet. He cares about his reputation. He feels like an idiot and a moron for saying transitory for a year. He doesn't like seeing CPI at 7.1 when it's really 10.2. I think he's effed. And if he doesn't come out hard, hawkish in this example, it's not going to be good. So I like it, the fact that we disagree. That's
right. Yeah. And I mean, I think that hawkish is probably a better choice.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in Jerome. Right. So yeah, I'll have MBS live up on one side watching mortgage-backed securities, and I'll have Jerome up on the other side from 11 to 12. I've got a pretty clear calendar. So you know what I'm going to say, Mike, we're going to see. Well, folks, this video will actually be up. I think I'm going to post this one at 5 o'clock tonight. So you'll see how we did in about 6 hours or so. Matt, how can people reach out to you if they want to refi, purchase, anything like that? Go to greatmortgagebroker.com. It's the easiest, quickest way. Our team will be in contact very shortly. Greatmortgagebroker.com. Quick little form. Let us know where you're at, how we can help. And we're happy to.
Awesome, man. Thanks. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Mike.
Mm-hmm.